So I can't actually believe I am saying this, but today at Manchester Theatres, I am here with writer, choreographer, singer, dancer, all-round jazz hard superstar that is Todrick Hall, because he is going to be performing in Burlesque The Musical at the Manchester Opera House, where it is premiering from the 13th of June. Now, Todrick needs very little introduction, having worked with just about everybody on every kind of project. I mean, we're talking the likes of Beyonce, Taylor Swift, RuPaul, Kristen Chenoweth, Nicole Scherzinger. He has 17 studio albums. He's been involved in 8 world tours. He's done original roles in Broadway, been in the West End in Chicago, had his own TV show, written songs for the Disney World Parade. I mean, that is a big one for me. And he is not only going to be here in Manchester starring in Burlesque, but he has also written some of the music for it as well. So thank you so much for joining us and welcome to Manchester.
Thank you so much. What a lovely intro.
You're very welcome. But we are dying to hear all about Burlesque. So first of all, just give us a recap maybe of the story and how Ali goes on this journey and what happens to her. And is there any change from the film to the stage as well?
There are changes from the screen to the stage, and I'm not sure if I'm at liberty to say those things, but you don't have to wait long because the show
We
opens
don't.
very, very soon.
Yeah.
But the show basically follows a young girl who's living in a small town to a big city where she meets a lot of people that change her life for the better forever. And it involves music and costumes and fabulosity. And it also just redefines what a family means to you, because I think during Pride Month, we're discussing families and how we get to choose our chosen families as the queer community. I think everybody gets to, but a lot of times queer people have to. And I love that part about the show because the show is so fabulous and it's so queer and so, but also it is just, really invites everybody from any walk of life into the show and makes them feel included. And I think that's what theater in 2024 should do. And I'm ecstatic to be premiering the show in Manchester because I hear the audiences here are next level.
We're a little bit wild. We are. We're a little bit wild, all in all the right ways. And yeah, it's brilliant what you've said there because there really is this community element to the film. And I think that's one of perhaps the reasons for its success. And, it inspires a lot of people and it really kind of guides you in a way to be able to express yourself as who you are, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So you're playing Sean, aren't you? Who really does have a little bit of a soft spot for Ali. So tell us about their relationship and a bit about Sean as well.
Well, I think that Sean is, the Robin to Tessa's Batman. He is the Cher character's best friend, and in this show, it's Jackie Burns who's playing the role of Tess. But he does have a soft spot for Allie, and he sees in her a young version of himself. I think that came into town and was really talented, but didn't really know exactly how to navigate this big world, as a lot of us do when we're green and we get to a big city. And this show is so like art imitating reality because Jess Foley, who's starring in the show as Ali, the lead character that was originally played by Christina Aguilera, is the other co-composer in the show. So she and I are both composing music for the show while starring in it as well, which I don't know if that's ever happened in theatrical history, by the way. We
No.
can fact check that. But he really welcomes her into the club and teaches her a thing or two about burlesque and why it is more than just a strip club, and it's an art form that has lived and existed and inspired audiences for decades and decades and eons, darling. And so I love the fact that I get to educate her as well as educating the audiences every night at the show what burlesque is.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you that. So, because when I've been talking to a few people, they either know the film or, well, I mean, everyone knows the film, but some people go, oh, burlesque, isn't that a bit? And I'm like, no, it's this big art form. So, could you maybe describe and sell burlesque for what it is rather than the sort of back underground horrible thing that some people might think it is?
I think that the really interesting thing about this show, similar to Moulin Rouge, is that it's based on a film that is successful, but it also stands alone on its own. Burlesque is an incredible art form that is so far from stripping. It's about the idea of being tongue in cheek, being inventive, adding comedy with something that would be traditionally sexy. It's not overtly sexual. It's something that you feel fabulous and confident in your body while also, burlesque performers, have inspired voguing balls and Chippendales. And I mean, I had to do a lot of research on the history of burlesque. And when you come to the show, you'll know why, because my character sings a song that kind of educates people from where burlesque originated in the 1860s to where it has evolved to now, and how many people in mainstream pop and media and entertainment at large have been affected by the seed that burlesque planted. So I think it's a really, really cool just art form to watch, and a really, really great show that represents burlesque in its full entirety.
So tell me a little bit about the music that you and Jess are writing, particularly yours, because it's you I'm chatting to. Like what who have you written for? So songs of people and the characters. Have you got a favorite that you've done, or is that kind of really horrible to ask that?
No, it is. It's not a horrible to ask, but picking a favorite song is like picking a favorite child because I
Yeah.
like them all for so many different reasons. And they never told me if I could say what songs were in the show, but they didn't tell me not to. So you're about to get the exclusive. I have written maybe 5 or 6 songs offhand. I've written a new song for Nikki's character. And it's a really, really fun song that was inspired by Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. My character has a brand new song in it that's a big show-stopping Act One number. I've rearranged and rewritten the song "Last of Me," which Cher wrote, and Diane Warren wrote the version for Cher in the show. Jackie Burns has a new original version of that song for herself. I've written a song called "Ammo" for George McGuire, who is so dreamy and our Olivier winner in the show, and he absolutely kills it and brought the song to life. I love when you get to write a song and then the person brings the song to life in a way that you wouldn't have imagined it to be. I wrote another song for Nikki called "What Are Clothes." There are more songs in the show, but I've written like 5 or 6 original songs, and I've gotten to rearrange some of the classic songs like "Welcome to Burlesque" and "Something's Got a Hold of Me." So I'm really, really thrilled. I was sitting in the wings yesterday during the rehearsal, and the stage manager turned to me and said, "How cool is it to see them bringing your song to life and see them dancing and the sets and the costumes and the visuals?" And it's just a really, really surreal pinch me moment when you get to watch something that you created in your mind in the shower or going for a long walk be brought to life in such a big, huge, gigantic way.
It's phenomenal, and like you say, to get to be in it as well and sing your own thing. Oh, it's so magical. Honestly, I love it. And I mean, you have done so many things and have so many strings to your talented bows that you could kind of pick any kind of project. So what was it about burlesque that drew you to it? Not once but twice, because you're in it and you've written the music for it.
I think that it's always been a dream of mine to be a Broadway composer. I've looked up to Andrew Lloyd Webber and Stephen Schwartz and Sondheim and Pasek and Paul and Rodgers and Hammerstein, Lin-Manuel Miranda my entire life. There are just so many great writers, and I've always wanted my name to be listed amongst great people like that. So when the idea got brought to me years ago, I was like, absolutely, sign me up. I would 100% be involved in that. And when I did the demos, my demos tend to be quite elaborate because I don't want someone to have to think about what the song would sound like. I want to give them a very close to finished example of the song. And so I went in and performed the song that Sean was going to sing. And when I got done in the studio, I won't lie to you, I had a feeling. I was like, I feel like I have written a song that is so perfect for me that they're going to ask me to play this role. And within an hour after they got the song, they called me back and told me that they loved it. It was for sure in the show. It has now become part of the logo and marketing for this production of the show. And then they asked me if I would be interested in playing Sean, and I said, "Well, I don't mind if I do." And so
Yeah,
the
let's
rest is
sing.
history, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I love it. And there's so we've got this show. It's coming to Manchester, as I've said, from the 13th of June. You're here all month. You then
Yeah.
go to Scotland, and then you're coming back to us because we've already practically sold out. So you're coming back throughout October before the West End transfer. I mean, are you ready for the chaos in a brilliant way that this show is about to unleash, because I just think it is going to go down. I think it's going to be amazing.
I don't know that I could possibly be ready, but I am at the point now where I'm like, I just want an audience. I can't wait for the audience to see this because I've been working on this show for the better part of 3 years. And so to get to see the audience experience these songs for the first time, the costumes and the lyricism and the choreography is going to be very exciting. I think we're all like antsy and we're like, when you wait and wait and wait for Christmas
Yeah.
Day to get there, and then it's like 4 days away, and you're like, just get here already, Santa. That's how we feel right now. We're so close to, crossing that finish line as far as opening night is concerned. And I think that once you've rehearsed and prepared so much, the only thing that can really let you know how the audience is going to feel about it is to see them for the first time. I think I speak for a lot of artists when I say this. Some days you can write a song and you wake up and you say, this is the best song that has ever been written. Okay. And then the next day you'll hear the same song and you're like, maybe I should give it up. Maybe this is not
Oh,
going to be for me. And so I think I've been on that emotional,
yeah.
creative roller coaster for a while, and I'm just ready to know the verdict if people like the new music. If they don't, it's a tall order to write music that's going to be sandwiched in between
Mm.
such iconic songs that are written by Sia and Diane Warren and the Christina Aguilera. For Jess and I to be putting songs to sprinkle and sandwich in between those songs is a really intimidating thing to do, but it's also equally as exciting as it is intimidating. So, and I think honestly, we have lived up to that standard. I think that I personally feel that the songs really, really fit and feel cohesive in the world that was created from the original film.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's just my mind is, it's one of them that I think no matter what I imagine, I'm not even close. I'm not even there. I'm not even in the right stratosphere to what's going on. And I've got a good imagination, but it's going to be brilliant. I mean, you've mentioned, of course, like yourself and Jess, but then you've mentioned like, songs and input from Christina Aguilera, Diane Warren, Sia. You've got Stephen Antin, who's written it, Nick Winston, who's choreo. I mean, the team on this are phenomenal, right? Does it like just go like, of course I'm going to be a part of this. Why would I not be?
Yeah, I think at everything, when you're inside the eye of the storm, you don't really see how huge it is. I've gotten to work with Beyonce and Ariana and Taylor and all those people. And when you're there in the bubble, you realize you're doing something and creating something magnificent and great, and that the audience is going to really absorb. I'm not surprised that the show has sold out as many tickets as it has. And I think it's a really brilliant opportunity for Manchester to get to see the show before it goes on and becomes a huge Broadway hit or a long running show in the West End or tour. That's the most exciting thing for me. Now, as a huge thespian and theater goer, I love to find the shows that are out of town to see what they're like before anybody ever sees them or before a soundtrack is ever released. So that then I can compare and contrast when the show finally makes it to the West End or Broadway. But it all feels very surreal. I don't think that I realize how big of a moment it is until I walk outside and people who are supporters of mine say, congratulations on Burlesque. This is so exciting. And then you kind of like look back and say, yeah, all this hard work is definitely worth it.
It is going to be. And before we let you go, Todrick, is Manchester treating you well? Are we treating you well?
So well, my hotel is simply gorgeous. I never want to leave. My bed is so comfortable. I have not made it down to Canal Street yet, but I'm planning to this weekend
Got
because
to,
I hear
yes.
it's everything. I've been there before many, many years ago, but I'm very excited to go out this weekend and paint the town. One of our dancers has a birthday this weekend.
Oh,
Weather has been lovely. I love to be able to like layer up, and I don't get to do that often in LA because it's so hot. So I've really,
all
really
right. You're rubbing it in now. You're rubbing it in now. Oh, it's hot in LA. You've just got rain.
No, I love it. I love it so much. I have an umbrella that I carry around with me, and I get so excited every time I get to take it out because we never get rain in LA. And I'm enjoying it so much. I'm having a great time. So thank you, Manchester, for welcoming me here once again.
Well, thank you so, so much for choosing to be a part of this show, for bringing it to Manchester, and for chatting to us today here at Manchester Theatres. It has been an absolute pleasure, genuinely. So thank you. You can
Thank
catch
you.
Todrick and everybody else in Burlesque from the 13th of June If you can't get tickets, it is coming back. So do not give up. It's going to be here again from October. It is going to be worth the scrabble for tickets, I can promise you. Thank you so, so much. I've already got tickets twice. I'm not going to lie. So
Oh, yay. Well, I'll see you there.
Yeah. So we will see you there. Thank you and all the best of luck with it. Thank you.
Wow.
That's your cue, kittens. Let's take it on home one last time before they turn out the lights.